What's up, guys? UFC 304. I can't wait for this one. Amazing. After the last two shitty fight nights, I've been really looking forward to this one. And I'm happy they're actually changing the time for it. Because normally when it's in England, it starts early here in the US, but it's actually going to start at the time that it normally does, which is great. I love that. Anyways, UFC 304, the rematch, Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. And let's get to it. I'll start with the main event as I always do. The first time these two guys fought, I'll start with their first fight, which happened over 3 years ago. It wasn't, for as long as it lasted, it wasn't competitive. Leon Edwards was putting a beating on Bilal Muhammad. He was basically giving him a striking clinic where Muhammad had no answer for it. He was landing kicks, punches. He was doing whatever he wanted, really. He was really showing that he's a much superior striker. And then early round two, there's an eye poke, like a serious eye poke, where Bilal couldn't continue. The fight gets ruled a no contest. I don't like to. This is one of those fights that is. Whenever a fight happened like 3 years ago, you gotta have to be careful using it as your part of your reasoning to make your prediction, right? Like if I look at the first fight and I was gonna base my prediction 100% on that fight, I would say, oh, easy peak, Leon Edwards, because of the way how it's playing out. So I am picking Leon Edwards, but not just because of how that fight was playing, just because overall I think he has the tools to get it done. They're both coming from very similar victories if you watch them, like Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. It was a 5-round decision that was other than round 5. This is one of the fights that I don't know when Colby and Chael Sonnen are two fighters that it's got to the point I don't know when they're trolling and when they actually mean what they say. Colby thought he won the fight, and I'm like, what? No, you did not win that fight. You won round 5. And maybe, possibly, you can make a smidge of an argument that he won round 4, which I don't think he did. Like, personally, I don't think he did. I think he clearly lost 1, 2, 3, 4, and won 5. I don't know, honestly, if he truly believes he won that fight, but whatever. A fight that didn't have any really huge moments. Like, if you go watch it, overall, it was a clear win for Edwards every round, but no huge moments where there were a lot of like big shots connected by either side or someone was about to get finished. It was just a pace that Edwards won, just defending the takedown, using his own grappling, showing that he can get takedowns, and he pulled a unanimous decision. And the same way was with Bilal Muhammad against was it Gilbert Burns? Yeah, same thing. It was a 5-round decision where the fight didn't really have any huge moments. No one almost getting knocked out or anything like that. That's why I'm saying very similar victories for both of them. This is one of those fights that the game plan is easy to know, right? There's no way Bilal Muhammad is coming into this fight thinking that he's going to be able to outstrike Leon Edwards, and that's going to be his game plan. It's going to be very heavy grappling on his side, training with Khabib, training with his team. Remember if you remember that team, Bilal Muhammad, we kind of know what he's going to want to do, and Leon Edwards should be very aware of that. But I believe that his fight with Usman, 2 times back-to-back, his fight with Colby, all 3 of them being high-level grapplers, and now this one, once again, that's the 4th fight that he's having where he's having to prepare for grapplers. And I believe that he's done his homework and he's brought the right people. So I think he'll be able to keep the fight standing, show that he's the better striker, and get the decision. I don't think he'll be able to finish Bilal Muhammad, but I think he'll get the decision. And I think he has to, if Bilal Muhammad has to win, I think he has to have dominant rounds, not just close rounds, because if there's a close round, I think they'll give it to Leon Edwards. And I don't see Bilal Muhammad having multiple dominant rounds to get that decision. So Leon Edwards by decision. Before that, the co-main event, which is the one I'm most looking forward to in this fight, is Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. Also the rematch. Kind of like the same way that I was saying, this is one of the fights that it's pointless to look at their first fight that happened 2 years ago. July 23rd, 2 years ago today, where he lost via injury 15 seconds into the first round. Anyone that looks at that fight and thinks that's an indication of what's going to happen here is dumb. I remember John Jones made a comment saying, "Oh yeah, he was losing that fight," and it's like, it lasted 15 seconds, dude. Even if you want to get mathematical about it and say, okay, yeah, for those first 15 seconds, Blaydes was winning. It's dumb. It's dumb to look at something that lasted 15 seconds. And technically, the injury happened around 12 seconds into it. I mean, at that point, the fight was over. But yes, Blaydes connected a couple shots. Nothing that had Aspinall wobbled or rocked. And it was an injury. He lost via TKO injury. After that, Aspinall is coming from smoking Pavlovich in his last fight, which I picked Aspinall to win by knockout round 1, and smoking Tibura before that. Both of them first round brutal knockouts. Curtis Blaydes coming from beating Almeida. So Curtis is coming from losing to Pavlovich in his second to last fight, and his last fight he beat Almeida via a fight where he lost the first round, clearly lost the first round. And then round 2, I guess Almeida thought that those elbows were not doing much, those punches were not doing damage, and eventually he got the knockout. I don't see this fight, I don't see Aspinall getting injured again. I have Aspinall by knockout round 1. I think he's going to go there and make a point that, in my opinion, just as John Anik said, Tom Aspinall is the champion. He is the one actually fighting, actually defending the belt, actually fighting the ranked guys, unlike Jones, who hasn't fought since December 2022, and there's no sight of one of his next fight, and it's against 42-year-old Miocic, who hasn't fought in over 3 years. To me it makes no sense, the whole cherry picking of Miocic legacy bullshit. Aspinall by knockout round 1. He's a better striker, that's no secret, and I think he has the grappling to keep it standing if Blaydes tries to wrestle. I will say they're heavyweights, and even the heavyweights have power, all of them, even the crappiest one. So obviously I will always give a heavyweight a puncher's chance like Blaydes. If he connects clean, he can probably knock anyone out. But I usually do not count on lucky punches or puncher's chance to pick someone. So Tom Aspinall by knockout on 1, I think he's going to show that he is the superior striker, faster striker, and has power to put anyone away, and he will connect with Blaydes and knock him out. So Tom Aspinall by knockout on 1. Before that, we have Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett. Bobby Green is coming from destroying Jim Miller in UFC 300. Basically using him as a human punching bag for 3 rounds. You go watch that fight, his face was busted out open, bloody. Other than a few big punches here and there that Miller landed, they kind of had Green in did he legitimate change his name to King Green? Oh, okay, because I'm looking at Wikipedia and it says King Green, not Bobby Green, whatever. Other than a couple big shots that Miller had, Bobby Green destroyed him. Faster, sharper, better boxing. Whatever little grappling Miller tried didn't work. Paddy Pimblett is coming from dominating Tony Ferguson. At this day and age, beating Tony Ferguson doesn't mean anything. 30-27, dominant victory for Paddy. Round one was very, very dominant. I mean, a few more shots that could have been a 10-8. Like, if you go watch it, he dropped Tony after dominating him and put a beating on him. It wasn't a 10-8, but I think a little bit more damage could have argued for a 10-8 Paddy. Then he took him, controlled him all round two with grappling, and then a little bit more grappling round three. But, he hasn't looked like the killer. When he first came into the UFC, they were talking about this new guy, Destroyer, but he hasn't looked. His fight with Jared Gordon, he clearly lost. It was a huge robbery. I don't remember very detailed some of the first ones, but he's beat nobodies. At this point, Tony is a nobody. He's a legend of the sport, yes, but you know what I'm talking about. Today, July 2024, being Tony Ferguson doesn't mean anything. And that's just the truth. I'm not hating on Tony. Jared Gordon, Levin, Rodrigo Vargas, Luigi Vendramini, those guys, Bobby Green would smoke every single one of those guys. I'm picking Bobby Green to win I'm picking decision. I can see a TKO possibly for Green. No, actually, no, never mind. I have Bobby Green winning this one by decision. I think he shows that he's the better striker, that Pimblett doesn't have the grappling to take him down and hold him down, nor the striking to stand up with him. Yeah, I would be shocked if Pimblett pulls this one off. And if he does, it will change what I think about him. Before that, we have Gregory Rodriguez versus Christian Leroy Duncan. I have Duncan winning this one by decision as well. I think his striking is sharp enough to. Gregory Rodriguez coming from beating Brad Tavares, knock him out in the third fight. I can't remember who Leroy Duncan beat last, but just his skill. If I technically looking at it, I think Duncan is faster and a little bit more technical than Rodriguez. And I think that's what it's gonna. I don't see this one being a dominant win for Duncan, and I do give Gregory Rodriguez a chance to upset if he mixes in well the grappling with the striking. I think if Rodriguez makes the decision that he just wants to stand up and trade, it favors Duncan, in my opinion, because I think technically speaking, he's faster and a little bit more technical. But if Rodriguez does a good job mixing in the takedowns and his own really good level of striking, he can get the upset. But I am getting Duncan by decision as well. And then Arlen Allen versus Giga Chikadze. I have Arlen Allen dominating this one by a late TKO, maybe round 3 or late round 2. I think round 1 will be competitive. As a matter of fact, not only competitive, but Chikadze might even win round 1. I'm not even joking. Like, we might go into round 2 where we're like, okay, that's 1-0 for Giga. But that's it. I think that's the only round where he will maybe be able to show his own good level of striking. But I think he will gas. I think the pressure of Allen and the good level of striking of Allen will give him trouble. And eventually, once Giga's kind of tired, Allen will get the TKO. But yeah, I have Leon Edwards by decision. I have Tom Aspinall by knockout round 1. I give a puncher's chance to Blaydes, of course. He's a big heavyweight. I have Bobby Green by decision. I have Duncan by decision. But I do also give a chance to Rodriguez if he mixes it up with grappling. And I have Arnold Allen by TKO, maybe round 3 or late round 2. And as always, if you follow my Instagram, the _MMA_sensei, you will see all my picks and methods. And all right, guys, have a good one.